welcome back to the Bailyn Nisbet Show on RFN, America's solution to accuracy and reporting. I'm Bailyn Nisbet. All right, my entertainment junkies, let's junk some entertainment. I have with us today Taylon Ashtra, who is the Onsite Diversity Compliance Officer for the Star Wars films, Star Wars Force of Destiny, Star Wars Rebels, Star Wars Last Jedi, Star Wars Resistance, and Solo is a Star Wars story. Taylon is a Hollywood insider. He's a Lucasfilm insider specifically, and he has lots to dish about the current goings-on over there at Lucasfilm and Disney. Taylon, how are you today?
I'm doing great. And you forgot to mention I am the biggest Star Wars fan.
Well, that is true. I mean, I guess you have the dream job there. I guess you're no stranger to the Star Wars mythos and so forth. The dream job. A lot of people like to have that job, myself included. Look, let's get right to it. I have a few questions for you. Go down the list. These questions were asked on our Facebook group by our subscribing listeners, and they have some questions for the Star Wars Insider, and I'd like to get right to them, if you don't mind.
Please jump in.
All right. First of all, the people in the group are excited to know, what is it like working with Dave Filoni?
I'm not familiar with Dave Filoni, but I do work with Kathleen Kennedy.
Okay. Well, let's move right along then. Why was there no fanfare for Kathleen Kennedy when her contract with Lucasfilm was extended?
Kathy, as I like to call her, of course not to her face. I'd never call her Kathy. Mrs. Kennedy. She is, just chugging along. She's the conductor of this train. So, I just think she's not like, it's not like you don't have fanfare. Hey, you're continuing to work here. So that's my answer to the question.
Okay. This question comes from our Twitter page. It's from Dagoberto Traus, at Dagoberto Traus. You get a question. Why is the Star Wars Galaxy Disney theme parks having such low turnout these days? It seems like that park is nearly not pulling in as much as we had maybe thought to begin with.
There's a lot of Disney's expensive, and now that we have Star Wars there, it's just taking it to the next level. It's funny that we would get such a question about the turnout. What do you expect? Like, how many people do you want to be there? Millions? Thousands?
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. The standard becomes arbitrary. Sometimes it may be never enough to satisfy that, right?
Correct.
Okay. Moving right along. We have a Twitter user here, at SightSeeCleft. He has a question. Bob Iger's new autobiography speaks about George Lucas being very disappointed with the direction that Kathleen Kennedy and J.J. Abrams took in Force Awakens. Can you please speak on that?
I could. It's so funny, the line of questions that we're getting. I was speaking with Anna Yeager. She's the vice president, AV creative director, and we were talking about George and talking about where he is in his walk, through life. And I just think that after a certain age, you have to let go, And so Bob Iger, the real, that's the CEO of Disney, and he wrote a book, and unfortunately, he recorded that there was some animosity towards the direction we're taking. But some people like Jar Jar Binks, and some people like, a really good movie, and that's what we delivered with The Force Awakens. I think Bob Iger said it best in his book. We were really concerned. George is obsessed with new places and new races and new technology. And what we were trying to do, and I agree with him, was recreate that feeling you got from Star Wars. And that's what we brought back. So when we created Force Awakens, he may call it retro, but people want to go back to that. So we were making a sequel, and I don't think he, like Bob Iger said, appreciated the hard work that goes into making a Star Wars film.
Okay. Now, we know that a large portion of the Star Wars films, they deal with the merchandising aspect. I mean, there's a lot of great sales that go on. This is a billion-dollar industry. And so this comes from the Facebook group, this question. What about the drop in merchandising? Is it the new characters? Is it the Rose Tico? Why is that being removed from promotional materials? These are questions from the Facebook group.
So it sounds to me like you're trying to say that there's some kind of connection. I have always loved Rose Tico. She's a woman of color. you know that some of the harassment. It sounds like some of your audience is in the same camp as the same group that drove the actress who played Rose Tico off of Instagram because of their harassment. Yes, so it sounds to me like the questioning is coming from a particular group that isn't that there's a lot of issues with the fact Rose is supposed to be on the covers, and she's being removed, and that's unfortunate. In fact, I as the on-site diversity compliance officer, one of the things I'm fighting for in the next trilogy, and hopefully we get to see in episode 9, fingers crossed, is to get a Latinx person. So I was really excited that to work with Ryan Johnson to get someone of Asian descent. So I'm really excited about that. As for her toy sales, well, that's the patriarchy, that's racism. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, of course you can. You can do something. You have to speak out, and you have to align. And yeah.
Okay. While we're on that group, I'm going to skip around a bit because we just brought up Twitter and we brought up racism. Tell us about the recent Twitter dust-up that you had with a fan. Do you need me to jog your memory here?
Yeah, I do get into sort of verbal combat with some of these what we call in the industry incels. Let me explain. They're the fandom that are very aggressive with trying to keep out diversity. So you can imagine as really the on-site diversity compliance officer, we're gonna have some dust-ups. So they don't like where we're going sometimes, and that we're trying to make it Star Wars a very inclusive kind of realm.
Well, okay, I'm going to go ahead here, and if you don't mind, I'm going to go ahead and read the Twitter beef that brought so much heat upon you. Is there anything you want to say beforehand, sort of to set it up? What is it that this person at Schnip Schnithers, what is it that he or she said to you that got you riled up? Do you remember?
I don't know. Like I said, I get into several dust-ups with several people. If they are not inclusive, and I imagine the gentleman was probably a Nazi, someone of an intolerant sort, and I can't help it. I get a little angry when I talk to fascists.
Well, I'll look it up. He was an Asian gentleman. He was an Asian gentleman, and what you had said was, is that what the fanboy hate crowd uses instead of arguments? You pasty-faced chink.
Correct.
Now, do you see a problem with that?
Well, think about it. So, I was using satire to make a point.
Okay. That was a joke then?
I was using satire to illustrate the fact that, first of all, did you know that Asians are actually moving into the privileged group? They're being paid at a higher rate. So nowadays we're starting to consider Asians as a kind of a privileged minority. But I mean, even with that in the backdrop, I was saying it was satire. It was satirical because here was an Asian man joining sides with some of the white. No, I am a white male, and I am cis. But but do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it. Now, some of the grammar Nazis are getting on you as well. What they think that you meant to say was pasty-faced, but it came out pasty-faced with two EDs and a T in there somewhere. Did you mean to say pasty-faced?
No.
Pasty-faced?
Absolutely not.
Okay. Coming from the Facebook group, this week reports from other Lucasfilm insiders say that Star Wars Story Group is being dismantled. Is that a sign that Kathleen Kennedy is no longer captaining the Lucasfilm ship?
So you're saying that the story group's being dismantled?
That's what my insiders tell us.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. I'm a part of that group.
Well, the internet's all rumor, and rumor's not a rumor that doesn't die. Are we finally going to see Reylo?
Oh, I was waiting for you to ask that question. So the great thing about Reylo is, it's such a strange phenomenon. I'm undecided as to whether I'm a Reylo fan. In the beginning, I definitely was 100% Reylo. As you know, Reylo is something that comes from the female fandom. It's so strange because Daisy Ridley, she actually commented on this, and I work with her very closely. I've coached her on some of the diversity compliance issues, and she had a really good point. She said that she finds the whole Reylo thing to be sexist. But so it kind of puts us in a paradox. We've worked very hard to attract female audience into Star Wars, and one of the things that we've done is we've taken a strong female character. We've gotten rid of some of that cisgender white male Luke, Anakin, and now we've brought Rey along. I'd like to tell you I had a modicum of part in that, but of course, as a white cisgender male, my role means nothing. This was all Kathy and her team. But when they created Rey and they brought her in, they made her strong, fierce, and for some reason, instead of embracing more of the hero action aspect, they're trying to transform Star Wars into a story about romance. It's almost as if they look at this and we've brought the audience from 90210, and now they want Star Wars to be 90210. It's very strange. I don't know why that's happening. It's almost as if women think different from men. But so Reylo's kind of an issue, and we're officially, Lucasfilm is officially against the whole Reylo thing. We're not about shipping. This is about the destiny of a young warrior. Jeff.
Okay, and the number one question we got on our both our Facebook and our Twitter groups is this question here. This is the hot button question. We're going to leave off on this. Okay. What can you tell us as an insider? This is very exciting. What about Episode 9? What can you tell us about it?
I'm not familiar.
Episode 9, the Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, the third movie. Oh, well, first of all, it's going to be really exciting. It's going to have Rey's, of course, going to be in it. She's going to be courageous and bold. Finn's going to be there. He's going to be that little jokester, making, dancing around and prancing around. Definitely being representative and completely diverse. Rose Tico's back. Do not believe the posters, ladies and gentlemen. Rose is going to be in there, and she's going to be fierce, and she's going to continue to lecture us about how society ought to be. And then also on top of that, who else is going to be in there? We got BB-8. BB-8's got a little sidekick now. So we've totally taken all of Lucas's properties and made sure that Disney's got its own property that they can fully 100% profit off of. And then on top of that, we're going to have we've kind of forced Lando Calrissian back into this one. So we're going to see Lando. He's back, and I don't know. Maybe we'll explore some of his pansexual origins in this film as well. And then Billy D's got to do it. And then what else is going to be in this thing's going to be crazy. So we've got Palpatine back, which of course the whole idea of Palpatine coming back and replacing fan favorite Palpatine, and he's going to be there and he's going to be laughing, and of course we've got Kylo Ren, and he's gonna get his ass handed to him by, excuse my French, by Rey, of course. Who, by the way, spoiler alert, and you didn't hear it from me, Rey can fly in the film.
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Ashtra. Taylon Ashtra, everybody, the Onsite Diversity Compliance Officer for Lucasfilm. I'm Bailyn Nisbet. This is the Bailyn Nisbet Show on RFN. Thank you very much.